All right, everyone, let's get into some book news. Our first story today is George R. Martin meets a genetically engineered direwolf pup. Colossal Biosciences genetically engineered 3 wolf pups using direwolf DNA. The direwolf, popularized in modern culture in Martin's Game of Thrones, has been extinct for over 10,000 years. Martin states on his website, extinct for more than 10,000 years, but extinct no longer, thanks to Ben Lamb, George Church, and Beth Shapiro, and the rest of their team at the mad scientists at Colossal, the world leader in the science of de-extinction. Many scientists have raised concerns about the unintended impacts of putting versions of extinct species back into the ecosystem. So many memes online of Jurassic Park and the ways in which this could go wrong. I have many thoughts on this. I don't know. They were really cute, but it's a weird use of science in my mind.
I just don't know why did they have him like take a picture of it. I'm okay with the science of it. I'm really glad it's just like they're bringing something back from extinction.
You're really glad about that? I'm not really glad about that. That's
But
literally natural selection.
I don't know because I feel like the humans had a lot to do with that, and it's just kind of messed up. So I'm okay
10,000
with
years
it.
ago? Humans?
Well, I
I don't know.
guess. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. Maybe not. But I just, to me, that I don't have an issue with it, honestly. I think the problem that I find more is that they're letting people run those, like, I mean, not that George R. R. Martin is a rando, but just random people that have nothing to do with science, letting like holding like this specimens and stuff. That to me is just like that. To me is more problematic than the investigation and the research and the science that is going into it. But that's just me.
I don't mind the research. I just think, like, what are you gonna do with these species? Because if you stick them out into the world, like, you have no the nature is a very delicately balanced ecosystem. So, I feel like just throwing a beast in there that has not been present is a super bad idea. That's what the Jurassic Park things. It's like nature knows
I
better.
guess. Yeah, I suppose. I don't think they're gonna be releasing them. I think they're probably just gonna be like observe and doing the research into it.
That's even worse for raising
I
animals to live in a captivity. I hate it.
I mean, they're not gonna be like in cages. I would hope not. But you know what?
I
I'm just talking out of my ass.
They're
I
gonna be
honestly
in
don't
cages. They're
know.
definitely gonna be in cages, yeah.
I don't know much about the topic, but I initially don't have that much of an issue with it. I think to me it's just like the props of like having a random person just kind of showing this instead of like focusing on the research. But maybe you need the money and that just brings you enough
Mhm.
exposure in order to get the research. So it's probably like a little hamster wheel and just have to kind of get in it. But all right. The next up we have Rege-Jean Page is set to produce and start a new adaptation of The Count of Monte Cristo. The original story, spun by Alexander Dumas, follows a sailor who is in prison for years after being falsely accused of treason. He escapes and embarks on a journey of revenge against those who have wronged him. We do not have a release date yet, but I'm kind of glad that he's doing something because he just kind of fell out of the face of the earth after Bridgerton. I haven't, well, maybe not. Like I did
He
see
did
him in,
Dungeons& and
and
Dragons.
that was
Yeah.
it.
He was too
So
good for Bridgerton, and now look where he is. He's scraping together another Bridgerton alt universe, basically.
pretty much, like I know, like I think he did feel like he was gonna be at the verge of like stardom, and like this was like his breakout role, and he didn't even want to do like a guest spot or anything after that, and it just kind of came and bit him in the ass. I mean, I wonder if it was difficult to work with or everything just kind of went to his head. So I'm curious to see how this goes. He was actually really good in the Dungeons and Dragons movie. I just recently watched that, and that movie is hilarious. If you all just haven't watched that, it is really, really good. So I'm curious to see how he does on this. He's said to produce and star, so money's coming out of his own pocket. So it should be interesting to see how this goes. Obviously, because I know so much about the Hollywood industry and about acting industry, he should have probably done something similar to what Jonathan Bailey did. And that was sarcasm, by the way. I know nothing about Hollywood or anything like that, but obviously Jonathan Bailey stuck with it, and now he's like in all of these massive blockbuster movies. I mean, he's about to have Jurassic Park come out later this summer, and he just did Wicked, and he's like lined up for a whole bunch of other things. So it did pay off to kind of remember your roots and where you come from. But who knows? That's just me being salty about Bridgerton. They did poor Daphne wrong.
Okay, our next story is one that will be near and dear to your heart, and one that I desperately want to talk with you about, which is upcoming Netflix adaptation of Pride and Prejudice. They released their casting. They've confirmed that its leading roles are Emma Corrin as Elizabeth Bennet, Jack Lowden as Mr. Darcy, and Elizabeth Coleman as Mrs. Bennet. The writer is Dolly Alderton, who wrote Everything I Know About Love, and it'll be directed by Euros Lynn, who did Heartstopper. What do you think of this casting?
I'm not jazzed about this casting. It's nothing. They don't look anything from what I have in my mind. And obviously, we have had the 1995 series, we had the 2005 Joe Wright movie. But honestly, like the casting for those characters was kind of similar. So to us who have grown up with this casting, this is a very stark difference and very different from what we have in mind. Um, I'm actually excited about to see Elizabeth Coleman. I think that could be kind of interesting to see her as Mrs. Bennet. But Emma Corrin and Jack Lowden, I don't see them as Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy. And this kind of makes me worried because Netflix just came out of doing Persuasion with Dakota. What's her name? Dakota
Dakota
Johnson?
Dakota I can't wanna say Dakota Fanning, but it is Dakota Johnson,
Yeah,
yes.
Dakota Johnson. And that was a terrible adaptation. It was bad. And it was bad because they just didn't take the subject matter seriously. They made it like really lighthearted, especially but still within the period costume. So it just didn't go together at all, just pick a lane. This adaptation, it's supposed to be a true adaptation of the book. They say that it's going to be like faithfully adapted. So I'm curious to see how this is gonna go. But just at first glance, I'm not super excited or jazzed about Emma and Jack, honestly. I'm nervous. I'm hopefully, again, I know nothing about Hollywood. I don't know what these casting calls look like. Maybe this acting and the chemistry readings were amazing and it was incredible. But these are, in particular for Emma, this is not a character that I've seen her play before. Maybe she does have a lot of range and she can pull it off. It's just going to be interesting. I actually did pull up my Pride and Prejudice book to see how Darcy is described. So, and we don't really get a lot of like physical descriptions as to what they're supposed to look like. So he doesn't have to have brown hair and brown eyes. Okay, that's fine. But it says is a tall person, handsome features, nobleman, and the report. So he's supposed to be really tall. So I was actually googling to see like how tall the previous actors were. And so Colin Firth is 6'2", Matthew McFadden is 6'3", and Jack Lowden, he's pretty tall. He's 6'1". Because he didn't come to me as tall when I was watching like Slow Horses before. So I was just like, isn't he pretty short? No offense to my short kings. I'm married to one and I fucking love him. So that's not an issue for me. But for Mr. Darcy, like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm not good with change when it comes to Pride and Prejudice. I have no idea.
For me, it's not even the physicality, it's that I don't see they're 2 low energy actors. Like, the reason that we're excited about Elizabeth Coleman as Mrs. Bennet is that she is dynamic. She's funny, you can see her being, like, the hysterical version of that, like, you've seen The Favorite. She's got that kind of, like, childlike giddiness, like, that attitude. Emma Corrin and I don't know Jack London as well, but they just read as so, like, w
Flat.
flat. They're not characters like I mean this in the best way possible. I want characters who fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, the reason that we love the Joe Wright version is because the chemistry between Matthew McFadden and, um, who
Keira
plays
Knightley.
Keira Knightley,
Mhm.
there's, like, a smoldering in their eyes. There's, like, not a lot of, like, overt sexuality in that movie, but you get the sense that they are, like that they have, like, a deep well of, like, sexuality and, like, chemistry and something else. When I look at Emma Corrin and Jack Lowden, I'm like, these are the least sex-filled people of my they are sexless, they are, like, not I don't wanna see a romance between these people. I see them and I'm like, I dry up like a prune, you know? Like
May I recommend to you The Brutal Billionaire? I don't know.
No,
Let's just
I
say
don't wanna
this.
be sold off by my husband either, but, like, I'm just saying, like, I don't look at them and see, like, these are 2 people who are going to, like, be so filled with desire for each other that they're going to be smoldering across a room
Yeah.
despite their internal hatreds. Like, I don't look at those 2 actors and see, like, "Yeah, that's gonna work." They can change my
Yeah.
mind, but that's how I feel about it.
I really hope so. And I think maybe this is a good thing because, like, even from a lot of the online discourse and like from you and I, like we're already kind of coming in with low expectations. So maybe it's just gonna be amazing. And we just don't know any better, right? Like, again, we didn't get to see like their chemistry read. They might be amazing. But to your point, I've only seen Emma Corrin in very vapid roles or evil person type of roles. So I haven't seen her in this type of situation before. So it'll be interesting. And then, yeah, Jack, I've only seen him in Slow Horses. That's it. I don't know what else he's. I'm sure he's been on other things, and I just haven't seen him. So
Like, he's a Bingley at best. I'm sorry, it's not cutting it
yes,
for me. He's a Bingley, and even then, the Joe Wright Bingley is, like, adorable. You just wanna, like, smoosh his face, like,
he's
I
so
just
sweet. He was so perfect and sweet.
Anyway, we could
Okay, we'll see.
extol on our disappointments about this forever, but
Yeah, we'll see. We will be covering this as soon as it goes live, so we'll probably be doing some live reactions on it. So more to come. Stay tuned on that. All right, and then the last thing that we have for you is Netflix's You, the bookstore, is going to be popping up in New York City. Mooney's Bookstore is where Joe Goldberg first meets Beck in season 1. As we know, Joe is the charming bookseller, and Beck is a customer that walks in, and they just immediately pick up a little bit of a relationship. The actual filming of Mooney's Bookstore, the exterior and the front interior, was actually filmed in a real Manhattan bookstore that's called Logos Bookstore. But now they're just kind of bringing it back to life as a pop-up, and it's going to be from April 22nd to April 23rd on 489 Broom Street. So if you're in New York, you'll be able to take a look at this bookstore and check it out. And that's all we have for book news.